Hello and welcome to Goatcast Episode 6. I am your host, the Wolf of Lego, and I am joined by my co-host...
It's Zach.
It is Zach. That's what you said last time. But we will have a repeat. I mean, were you just trying to keep it consistent?
No, I was trying to make it different every time.
Oh, no, you said it the same. I thought you were trying to make it nice and cozy for everybody to come back to, feeling like, it's a nice warm little blanket of Zach.
Keep people on their toes, and I failed, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should be. But
what are we doing today, William?
Well, today we're going to be finishing up our conversation about the Bad Batch. The show has finally wrapped up, and my phone is not on silent. Fucking idiot. And, yeah, we're going to be talking about the last 4 episodes of the Bad Batch, that being episode 13, 14, 15, and 16, and that is the end of the show. Season 1 is wrapped up. But yeah, so first off, we're going to do our little segment of what we've been up to, and weirdly enough, I went to Brick Fair this year. I haven't gone in 2 years, and I got to meet Zach in person for the first time.
The first time, yeah. So just stand still, I don't know.
Just standing there?
He's chilling?
Okay.
Oh, he fell.
Oh, he fell? Is he dead?
He's just standing on the thing.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's not on your brick bench, he's just on your head.
That's why I was like,
That's okay. And it was
my first Brick Fair and my first time meeting you.
And it was wonderful.
It was good.
It's probably been my favorite Brick Fair I've ever attended. It was just a lot of fun, and it was great to get to see you and Simone again. Great to finally meet you. I've been talking to you for like a decade.
For a very long time, yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, the fact we hadn't met. I've met people I've known less time than you, which I always found funny.
Yeah.
We got to watch.
It was fun.
We got to watch episode 14 of the Bad Batch together as a group. That was fun.
As a group with all the boys, it was nice. It was very memorable, that episode.
Yeah, because we got to watch it with like a group of 10 people, which was really fun. Yeah. Definitely kind of reignited my interest in going to Brick Fair because I hadn't been there in a while, and it was just like, oh, that was really fun to see everybody again. Got to
I saw
meet
that
up
they
with
were
everybody except the Moose Figs because he's a little bitch and didn't show up.
Yeah, okay, all right. Now we're getting hostile. But like a couple days after coming home, I got an email saying that you could pre-order tickets.
Yeah.
But it was for the one in, I guess, New Jersey.
Oh.
I was like, I'll just pre-order the tickets now. Shouldn't wait a year. But no.
But yeah, no, like I said, we got to meet up, and yeah, that happened a little while ago. But that's pretty much just the biggest thing to talk about that we did.
Yeah.
Which was very nice.
It was nice.
So on to the Bad Batch. So the first episode we're going to be talking about is not a great way to start, but it is episode 13, Infested. Zach, what did you think of this garbage?
I mean, you summed it up, really.
There's not much to say about it. It just sucked.
There really isn't much to say. You
went from Rescue on Ryloth and Devil's Deal to this.
And we got to meet a character that I can't remember his name.
I don't even remember.
I remember what episode, but I guess he's one of the galactic families, the mafia families, I guess.
I thought he was from Rebels because there's a character that looks very similar to him with like that species with the horn cut off. Mm-hmm. But apparently that's a different character. So I don't know who the hell this is. He's just some random dude who stole the bar from Sid. And then Omega guilt trips them into helping Sid. Once again, we have to deal with Sid.
Don't forget how good I've been at keeping secrets.
I believe she's threatening us.
And it was just whatever. Like, it was cool to see the Pikes, but that was about it.
Yeah, I think that's the first time we've seen the Pikes in Bad Batch, right?
Yeah. I mean, the last time we saw them was season 7 of Clone Wars with the Martez sisters, which wasn't a great episode either. Yeah, there wasn't much to take from it. There was a fun Indiana Jones style minecart chase.
There was a minecart chase.
I liked that, and there was a scene that was fun in the sense that the Pikes want their spice back. I'm not going to explain the plot. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But they want to get their spice back, and they say, "You go get it, and you leave the girl with us." And the Bad Batch all draw their guns, which I really like, because they're like, "We're not giving her to you." But then they just leave her with them anyway. So the whole scene was ruined. It's like, wow, you guys are idiots.
I don't know.
And the Pikes don't even kill the guy at the end. It was just like, what was the point of any of this?
I don't know. It was literally a throwaway episode, and I really wish it didn't exist so that we had more time to wrap stuff up at the end of the season.
Yeah, because even so, the fact that it's like it was near the end of the season, it wasn't like at the beginning. This is a weird filler episode just plopped at the end, and it's like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll talk about it more later, but I feel like that runtime could have been used to wrap up some loose ends.
Yeah, for sure. And like they go for a whole bug thing, but there's nothing to go with that. It wasn't scary or cool or
I mean, Tech made a big flashlight at the end.
yeah, he turned on bright mode on his phone.
He turned bright mode on his phone. Yeah, but I mean,
Not much to say about it. It really isn't.
really not.
Like I don't know, like it just was stupid.
But the episode after that, the one we all got to watch together,
Yeah, War-Mantle?
War-Mantle, which was
That was pretty good.
it was a good one.
Yeah, what'd you feel about that?
It's a little, I guess, biased at this point because that was a very different episode to watch.
Yeah.
Watching it with everybody, because usually it's just me watching it by myself.
Yeah, you had like the group mentality going on.
But like the group mentality and everybody getting excited. But all in all, it was a good episode. It was really good. I wish that there was more to it.
Yeah, it
because we
felt
kind of left on a cliffhanger, and then it never really picked up after that.
Yeah, because they were there, and then by the next episode, they're no longer dealing with that situation.
Yeah, and
Because the episode starts out with Clone Commando Gregor on the run, and this guy tanks a couple stun shots, which surprised me. He kept running when he got stunned. Usually in Star Wars, people just fall over. So when he got stunned and he kept running, I was like, "Whoa, okay." Like
his like leg fell asleep, and he's like dragging it behind him.
yeah, but like it starts off really good because you got this chase sequence and these Republic commandos capturing him, and it's like, oh, what's going on? You're immediately intrigued, like
Right, because
and then Rex tells the Bad Batch they need to go help this guy, and it's like, oh, this is interesting.
Hunter does the thing where he's like, he sniffs dirt and he's like, oh, there's the secret facility. Like, I get that he's tracking, but that's not how you track.
No,
Like,
I still find Hunter's like trait to be laughable because it's like, wow, he can sense things through the dirt, and it's like, what?
It's like, okay, like have him look and notice tire tracks and a broken stick and like
Yeah, like
something's
have some
going on here.
realistic tracking, make it more fun.
But like he always gets down on his knee, grabs dirt, sniffs it,
He's like-
looks up,
his-
and then it's like there's a thing here.
his
It's like,
ability
what?
is like Tech, being able to figure things out without us seeing it.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, there's a thing here. And it's like, that's not interesting. He's like, something's in that mountain. It's like, he sniffs dirt and he's like, yeah, there's an Imperial base 66 clicks out and about 1,000 stormtroopers stationed. He just knows.
It's like, how? But anyway, after that, they do find the facility, and they find that it's full of commandos, which is really cool.
Yeah, because technically, the Bad Batch are like an experimental group of commandos, but Republic
Right.
commandos are the elite group of the clone army that have had little fanfare in the shows and movies, but there's a video game that I really love, Republic Commando, where you play as Delta
Republic
Squad.
Commando.
And I've always loved commandos, so the fact that they were in this was really cool. And the idea that they're training stormtroopers,
Right, it's really cool.
You get to, like we talked about, the fun thing with Bad Batch, you get to see this transition period explained more. The idea that it's like,
Yeah, and it's
okay,
so
the most
good.
elite clones are training the Imperial soldiers, which is such a
It's-
cool concept.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about them giving Echo a little more to do?
Oh no, that was really good. I like that. Peck messed up.
Yeah, no,
Like he oversighted something and made things more difficult, which was
he alerted them that they were there.
he's like Gregor's like, you can't use clone codes.
Yeah, they don't use them here. It's all new.
Right. It's the fact that he oversighted that was
Yeah, but I like
was nice.
I like the dynamic of Echo really like wanting to help with Rex's plight because
Oh yeah.
Rex wants to help this clone, and he brings up the fact that if the Bad Batch didn't come and rescue him, he would have never made it out of there.
Right.
So if there's someone,
he would still be
yeah, and if there's this guy here who needs help, he's not leaving until he helps him. So Echo would have
Yeah.
gone off on his own, which I thought was really
for
cool.
sure. Yeah.
And it's nice because I do agree with a lot of people that Echo kind of gets shafted. He's like pushed to the side in the show. He doesn't get a lot of time to be in the spotlight.
Yeah, and the only other time that he's been in the spotlight was when they went to save the goodness gracious, I can think of the word.
Oh, the Separatist senators? Are you talking
Yeah, the
about?
separatist
Yeah,
senator.
Common Ground.
Yeah.
The client is a separatist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got a little bit of attention there, but not enough. I feel like this one was a little more justified and gave him more
It's
to do,
personal.
which was nice.
Like he needed help, and the Bad Batch came to help him, and now somebody else is asking for help, and
He doesn't want to leave
He's
him
like-
behind.
right, and you could tell that he still feels a relation to other clones.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bad Batch are very much like, fuck them.
Yeah, they're kind of on their own level of brotherhood because they're all different and they've, been with each other. But Echo is technically a reg.
Reg.
Yeah. He was part of that system and he, cares about those other troopers, and the Bad Batch don't seem to.
Right. So there's been a couple of times where he's, especially with Rex, he trusts Rex. He's been with Rex through a lot.
Yeah, I almost feel like he wants to go with Rex. I feel like if he didn't have loyalty to the Bad Batch, he probably would go with him.
Right. Or if something had happened between them and the Bad Batch, he would be with Rex and Wolf and Gregor. But
what do you feel about Gregor being your second time? Because I know you didn't really watch the stuff with Rebels with him.
Yeah, I didn't watch stuff with Rebels. I felt like I knew that he survived the explosion.
Yeah.
Because I know that he's in Rebels.
Yeah.
But now seeing him, he seems distressed.
We'll take a detour.
I don't know if that carries on into his character in the Rebels, but he seems very
Well, from what I've seen from Rebels, is he's kind of mentally deranged.
Oh.
And he's laughing all the time and kind of like a kook. And in this, they have him laughing and acting weird. And I guess that's what happens when you blow up. You just get a voice crack.
Yes.
It's just I'm not crazy about Gregor. Everybody loves Gregor, but he was in one episode and then he was in Rebels, and I'm just I liked him in this. He was fine. You know,
he had amnesia to begin with, right? He didn't know who and what he was.
Yeah, in Clone Wars he was like a diner, like a waiter.
Yeah, he worked at a diner with,
and then the fucking droids and the little frog man kicked off his memory that he's a commando.
I hate that episode.
Yeah, those suck. Those droid episodes are so, I don't know. And I think that's why people like Gregor, is he was just a relief.
He was the only
good
thing to come out of that story.
Yeah, because everybody's like, wow, that was such a good part with him. And I was just like, yeah, but that's 10 minutes out of a 4-part episode.
It was a badass 10 minutes. Him just going to that
it was
entire,
fun to see
facility.
him. And
or the warehouse.
Him showing up at Bad Batch was fine, but my thing with, we'll get into it in the next episode, is he's just kind of a cameo. He doesn't really affect much that happens.
Oh, yeah.
He affects what happens with the story in the next 2 episodes by, a situation.
I do like how this show has been tying up loose ends, what happens to the clones.
Yeah, we've discussed that.
What happens to the Kamino facility, but also in episode Rampage, where did the Rancor come from? Something that nobody's ever asked.
Yeah,
but we have a thing there. Tying up loose ends with that, where was Gregor blew up, and then how did he get with Rex and Wolf? It's cool to see.
Yeah, but they don't really show how he got back from the explosion. But regardless, the idea that he's training clones is neat, and there's other commandos there,
such as
my boy.
Is there a reason we're just standing here? Are you trying to baffle the enemy into submission, sir? Are we going to stand around all day? I sense violence in our near future. Anyone got a good story to pass the time?
Scorch from Republic Commando. Scorch shows up, who was in one episode of the Clone Wars. They had Delta Squad show up.
They did have Delta Squad.
And they just stood around in the rain, but they let Scorch be a badass, even though he doesn't get to talk, which sucks. I wish he was able to talk.
I'll make boots out of you! Bad guys ahead, so much for stealth. Need some cover, squad. This one looks like your mother. Quit shooting at me. Ammunition exhausted, and so am I.
His little accent.
Yeah, out of all the clones of the commando group of Delta Squad, I really do feel like Scorch is my favorite. He's just the comedic explosives expert, and I've always loved his character, because when you play in the game, he's constantly just running his mouth and saying stupid shit.
Yeah, he's always talking.
And I love the design, the gray and the yellow. It just looks so cool. They let him be a fucking badass. He flanks them.
Yeah, he straight up he just jumps over an elevator. He crawls around. He cuts him off.
He fucking
and then eats a bunch of stuns.
He dodges a couple stuns, then he beats the shit out of Tech, and then he tanks a bunch of shots, and it was kind of funny because it's the only reason they're using stun is because they would have killed him and people would have been pissed.
I mean, I think they established them using stuns forever ago.
They did in the Senator episode.
The Senator episode, and I wanted to say, anytime that Crosshairs has showed up, they've used stuns.
No, because when Crosshairs showed up in Reunion, the episode where Cad Bane shows up, they're just shooting people.
Well, With clones, they use stuns. When it's just troopers, they shoot them.
No, they shot a bunch of clones in that episode.
Really?
Yeah, that was the thing where we brought up when we watched Common Ground. We're like, oh, they're using stun for once, because they were just shooting people. They weren't caring. I'm just saying the fact they're using stun, because they would have killed not Gregor. They would have killed Scorch in that scene if they weren't.
Yeah.
That was really cool to see. And, they're obviously trying to escape this facility that looks like one of those giant holes in Coruscant where it like digs into the earth.
Yeah.
I love the design. It's really cool looking. Very Death Star-esque. It even had the Death Star escape music playing, which was really cool.
Which is why I couldn't imagine any other episode to watch with everybody.
Yeah.
Because we're all sitting there watching it, and then the elevator door opens and Scorch turns around.
Yeah, and everybody lost it.
And everybody lost it. And then the siren started playing.
Yeah, no,
and everybody lost it again. It's like, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. And then they got these TK troopers with the Ralph McQuarrie style concept art for the stormtroopers.
That was something that everybody was like whispering to each other. It's like, that's the Ralph McQuarrie.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Everybody was pulling up photos. It was cool.
And they obviously attempt to escape. Omega and Wrecker show up with the shuttle, and Wrecker just starts shooting without stun. He just kills a bunch of clones. Like, he does not care. This one commando gets shot by his own troops.
I think Scorch shoots him, right?
No, Scorch was unconscious. He wasn't there yet. But he just gets shot by a bunch of regs, or not regs, I should say, TK troopers, and he flies off the edge.
Right.
It's a nice tense scene. You got V-wings coming in, shooting at the shuttle, and they have to redirect and then come back to try to grab Echo and Hunter because Tech and Gregor got on, and then the V-wings showed up, so they had to move around and try to take them out, and then they show back up. It's a nice, tense little scene. Echo gets on the shuttle, and then Hunter makes a jump for it while Tech is dodging fire, and Hunter fucking falls off the mountain. Which was a great scene. I was like, this is really fun. All this is great. And he somehow survives. I have no idea. He hits a lot of tree branches on the way down.
He hits a lot of tree branches on the way down, but...
He gives them an order to leave, because there's no way they're going to be able to come get him. And he's surrounded, and then we see Scorch again.
Your behavior frightens and confuses me, sir.
And
oh, that's right. Yeah.
He gets captured, and the episode leaves off on a cliffhanger with Crosshair showing up to take Hunter. The great line of, I was expecting the whole squad, but you'll do.
I was expecting the whole squad. I'm upset at how quickly he was just on a shuttle. There's not he gets captured and is on a shuttle the next scene.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done if they didn't have Infested. Is that the episode 13? They could have filled in a little more there.
Yeah, because like we said, the War-Mantle episode, there's this huge facility, and they just kind of leave all that behind.
Yeah.
Because the next episode, Return to Kamino, Crosshairs is taking Hunter back to Kamino, which is fitting for the show to start on Kamino and then end on Kamino. But in terms of what just happened in the previous episode, it's just kind of like, oh, what about all that with all the commandos and the TK troopers? We're just leaving that behind.
Yeah, I wish there was a little more with that.
What'd you think of Return to Kamino?
Return to Kamino was good. I liked it because 15 and 16 tie in so closely. Seeing the Kamino facility just empty and barren.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, because there's never been a scene where it's not just chocked full of people.
Yeah, Kamino is one of my favorite Star Wars locations. I think it's so cool. It's this city above the water, and it's so high tech versus a lot of other stuff in Star Wars, which makes sense because it's cloning facility. It should be
very
pristine,
sterile.
weird.
It's very bright.
It's very alien.
Yeah,
and
everything's in these circles. All the hallways are curved.
And I absolutely love the fact they brought back the Kamino theme from episode 2, the music.
Yeah.
It just comes in, and you got the rain and then the lightning and the clouds, and I'm just getting nostalgic goosebumps listening to it. It's just oh, this is so cool, that they brought that theme back. And they have a good way of making sense why the Bad Batch can go back to Kamino. One, it's being abandoned, and two, Omega knows things that people don't.
Which was very interesting. We find out that she knows a secret landing platform.
Yeah, for Nalisay's
research lab.
Yeah, which is,
I guess,
an underground facility off of the main Tapoka City.
Right.
And, the Bad Batch were made there because they enhanced their traits to desirable defects.
And it just opened more questions.
Yeah, but it was interesting, you know?
It was and I guess she watched
Which,
the Bad Batch be created.
yeah, because she's an unaltered clone. She doesn't age like, she ages normally.
Right.
And they're
Yeah.
accelerated. So, you know, they'll be full grown in like a couple years. Unlike her, she's older than them technically, which Tech brings up.
And technically, she is older than her.
But speaking of Tech, the last couple episodes, he was really good. He wasn't annoying, you know?
No, he wasn't annoying. He was
Because even the War-Mantle episode where he's like wanting to go back for Hunter, but Hunter's like, that's an order, and you see him like debating with himself, like, should I go back?
yeah, and he knows.
And it's kind
He's
of
like, we're getting our ass kicked here.
it's kind of neat because you'd think like Echo would take over, but Tech kind of takes over the squad. He kind of becomes in charge,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting because I didn't really think of him as the one to take charge, but he's just kind of like, here's the plan, here's what we're gonna do.
Right.
Which was neat to see. I liked the fact that he got to be in charge. It wasn't something I expected, but I ended up liking it.
All the way when like Hunter's tracker beacon gets activated.
Yeah.
He's like, this is obviously a trap, but we have to go. And like he's the entire time formulating a plan to like
Trying to think of how they can get out of there. But I do want to say it's a little annoying that they pick up Gregor and then there's an offshoot line of Wrecker being like, I dropped Gregor off with Sid, she wasn't happy, and then he's no longer in the episode.
right.
And it's like, well, what was the point of that then? Like, if he's not going to affect the story, like, he was just a cameo.
Back to like if Infested wasn't an episode, we could have
Yeah,
had an
exactly.
episode where they go back to the bar, they drop off Gregor, or yeah, they drop off Gregor, then they like, okay, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah, maybe have an episode
Oh,
just
hey,
them
Hunter's
planning.
beacon's turned on. Where do we go from here? Like,
Yeah, maybe an episode of this them planning how to rescue him, and then maybe have Hunter involved in that facility more before he leaves to Kamino. I don't
right?
know.
Like that would have been such a better episode than whatever 13 was supposed to be.
Yeah, Admiral Rampart is completely cleaned out Kamino of all the important staff and removed all the clones. And Crosshair obviously lures them to the one training room, which once again parallels this nice first episode they were there. Last episodes they end up there again.
I like that Crosshair knew everything that was going to happen before it did. Like Crosshair was a step ahead of Tech.
Yeah, I mean that was even with the episode 8 reunion where he's like tapping
Yeah.
our comms, like you're very predictable because he's worked with them. He obviously knows their
Right,
strategies.
he knows what's going to happen, and I think that plays into a really big part of when they have the big stalemate in the training room, and he mentions that he's had his chip removed. It's been removed
Yeah.
for a long time. Like, would he have been able to, like, on the rescue on Ryloth and all the way back in Reunion when he pieced together they tapped the comms, like, would he have been able to figure that out while being
Well, I feel like because
Inhibited.
after he gets burned in Reunion, when we see him again, he's got a chunk missing out of his head.
yeah.
Obviously, I guess he removed his inhibitor chip somehow. That's what they're implying. Or he could be lying because he still has, in these last 2 episodes, he has those weird like headaches where he's grabbing his head.
Yeah,
So maybe he still has the chip. Maybe he's just lying about it. I don't know.
I don't know. I it's
But I
weird.
feel like if he had the chip, he wouldn't have killed the elite troopers.
That's what I mean. Like,
But to be fair, he killed one
they
of
were
them.
boosting it. He did shoot the one for being insubordination.
Yeah, I mean, Crosshairs is such a great character. I love his character. He's been definitely
It's-
the highlight of the show for me
What are you waiting for? Give the order.
Oh, for sure.
because he's just no nonsense. If somebody disobeys him, he just kills them. It's just
Yeah.
like he's great, and I love how he's like, "This is who I am. Like we should serve the Empire, have purpose again. You guys shouldn't be drifting through space." He wants his brother's ship back with his brothers to fight and have a purpose, but he just has a really weird like view on
Yeah.
what purpose they should have. Oh, let's be a bunch of murderers, you know?
Right. But I mean, like at the very first episode, they're like frying his chip, or maybe that was second episode.
No, that was the first one. The first episode was like an
But-
hour long.
They're like boosting his chip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I like the idea that it's like, because I was saying at some point, I don't think he can be redeemed. And I like that they're straight up like, he just believes in the Empire and wants to be a part of that.
He's not redeemable because he's made his choice.
And that's more interesting than being brainwashed to me. Because that
Yeah.
makes him a morally ambiguous character where it's like, he thinks this is right and everyone else is like, well, this is kind of messed up, dude.
Yeah. I don't.
But it was weird for him to be like, hey, get Omega on a shuttle off world. We should keep her safe. Why are you dragging her around? When in the one episode, he's like,
Right.
shoot her. He's like straight up wanting them to kill her. But to be fair, that could have been him with the chip versus not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
It's left up in
Like-
the air. It leaves out more questions.
yeah. And that was my biggest complaint about 15 and 16 is like there's more questions than there was an episode ago.
He kills his squad because he wants the Bad Batch to join the Empire and be with him again, and he wants to give them a chance, and he says that they didn't give him a chance, what I really like. There's even a line in the Clone Wars episodes with the Bad Batch where he was talking about Echo being like, if I was left for dead, I wouldn't be so loyal. And you can relate that to these episodes where he was left behind and he feels abandoned by them.
Yeah.
Which I really like the dynamic they were going for, where he wants to be back with them, but he doesn't want to be doing what they're doing. It's a cool moral debate.
Complex, yeah.
And then, Omega rescues them, which was fun. She activates all those fucking droids, those training droids.
There might have been too many droids.
And there was a great scene because, like, Hunter wrestles with Crosshairs, grabs his pistol, and then they all start working together, and the Bad Batch theme starts to play and, full blast, and they're all working as a squad again, and it was just like, that was cool. Like,
yeah.
I have come to like the Bad Batch, and just to see them together again, it was like this nice feeling. It's just like, oh, look at that. They're working together.
Yeah, it was really nice to see all the pieces come together again, only to be like stunned as soon as it was over.
Yeah, it was this brief little light at the end of the tunnel, and then immediately Crosshairs is back to being an asshole.
Yeah.
And we see this elite squad trooper who sees that her squad is dead, and then we have this scene that was really kind of, for me, heartbreaking to watch. Rampart destroys Kamino.
Oh yeah.
And like,
yeah.
Dude, it's like I like I said, I love Kamino. Like the Kaminoans are kind of shitheads, but I love that because one of my favorite things of Star Wars is the clones. And in a way, it was like, we're done with this. The clowns are done, and they blow it to smithereens. And it was just sad to see it sink into the ocean.
There's this scene where all the little tubes is the room's getting filled with water, and they all just kind of stop and look at it.
Yeah, or just they're running through the halls, and then they show all these shots of every room abandoned and empty.
Yeah.
And then, they just start blowing the place to hell, and it was just like, wow, this is really well done, because this is getting me. Weirdly enough, it was just like I felt sad to see it all go, It was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. And, it leaves us off on a cliffhanger, which I was like, oh, Dave Filoni, you ass. It's
right,
like
they're still in the facility as it's being bombarded.
Yeah, and the camera pans past the Venators, and then it fades to black. It's like, what? Like, it's like, what happened?
What?
No, but that was a great episode.
It was a really good episode.
Like I said,
seeing him use his little mirrors again.
Oh yeah, that was great because he hadn't used those.
Cool scene. He hadn't used them since the first episode.
I want to say he used them in the Bad Batch, but I don't think not the Bad Batch, in Clone Wars. I don't know if he's used them in Bad Batch.
Yeah, he used them in Clone Wars in the hallway.
Yeah,
and he like danced the laser down the hallway.
But I like the fact that you see Tech notice them and he points.
Yeah, Tech's looking at the mirrors. He's like,
what's going on?
I forget what he says, but he
just kind of bumps Wrecker, and Wrecker looks over. But it was really good, and like we said, it's a great way to show why the Kaminoans aren't around anymore. They just blew up their entire facility.
The Kaminoans are gone. The clones are gone.
Yeah, which leads right into Kamino Lost. The finale.
Yeah.
Which how'd you feel about it?
Like I said, it's hard to talk about 15 and 16 because they're so closely knit together.
Yeah.
Just like Risker and Ryloth and Devil's Deal, like they're just 2-part episodes. I liked that they were trying to find a way through the facility. I liked the part where Omega and Crosshairs are stuck in a room and the rest of the crew is on the other side and they're trying to get through.
I will say that, like, I think I liked Return to Kamino more. It felt more climactic.
Yeah.
But I did like a lot of Kamino Lost. I liked how different it was for a finale for a show, because it was just mainly character focused. It wasn't all out action, like, oh, we gotta have a bombastic finale. It's like, it was very much so a lot of conversations and them trying to work together, even though Crosshairs is not wanting to side with them, which I thought was neat.
My biggest thing was I didn't know what was going to happen at all.
Yeah.
Like, because as far as I'm aware, none of these characters are outside of this media. They could have just died at the bottom of the ocean, and like that could have been just the end of the story.
Yeah, that would have been messed up. But what kind of annoyed me was that before Return to Kamino came out, they announced season 2.
Right.
Which I was like, well, couldn't you have announced season 2 after the show finished? Because now it's making me feel feel like, oh, they're going to be okay. Because I would have rather watched those episodes not knowing that they're going to continue. Because I watched it knowing that, and I'm like, oh, they're going to be okay. And that's pretty much what happened.
I didn't know that. So the entire time I'm like, okay, they're going to have, like, they're going to say their piece and die at the bottom of the ocean. Oh, they made it out of the facility. They're in the tunnel. Okay, cool. All right.
Wouldn't that be messed up? The clones all die at the bottom of the ocean.
It was something that's like I could like Rogue One.
Yeah,
it's just like all these characters die. Like it's a great movie, but
I mean, Dave Filoni's done that before with Clone Wars. He introduces characters and then kills them in the same episode.
The entirety of Domino Squad.
Yeah, Domino Squad and a lot of the stuff with the Mandalorians. People just get offed all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was really... I wouldn't say I was on the edge of my seat.
No.
But it was like, I don't know what's going to happen.
I love the set design, though. Like, the broken hallways filling with water. Like, it was all really cool. They made a character model of Omega with wet hair. So anytime she got in the water, her hair was wet, which I liked.
Yeah.
To mention this, because it was right at the start, I really liked the one clone trooper that sounded so distraught. He walked up
when he talks about, like, the entirety of the Kamino facility.
He, like, sighs, and he's like, it's done, sir. He seems upset.
He gets choked up about it, yeah, for sure.
Clone rebellion. Go off the extended universe. Have the clones turn on the Empire. That would be cool.
Right, which...
I thought they were going to do. Maybe they'll do that for season 2. The clone uprising, and then that's why they aren't around.
Well, that's kind of what I was really curious about Hauser.
Yeah, so maybe he'll come back season 2, but
maybe he'll come back in season 2 and start the rebellion. But
overall, like, the finale episode was just, like I said, a lot of conversations and trying to figure out how to get to point A to point B. Nothing crazy. It was just kind of like, you know, Omega saves Crosshairs and he's kind of annoyed, but he's also like, he's ungrateful. There's a little droid AZ who's helping them find their way. There's the giant snapping turtle scene, which is kind of fun. You know, that big monster that comes up to the
that was the only time where I was like, oh, there's no way this is gonna kill them. Like that would be too
like
harsh.
Weird. Yeah,
like, oh, the snapping turtle bit the thing in half and they just drown. Like they're safe here. Like, I know they're safe here.
Omega just kind of like, I know this is how you are, but they care about you and you're my brother too, which is kind of nice. She's just like, they care about him, so I care about you.
But at the same time, he's like, I don't know who you are. I don't care.
You never
Go away.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, he's grabbing his head, so I don't know if his chip is gone. They use those
he might have just said that to be like...
to throw them off, yeah.
Like, even if I still had my chip, this is still me. Like, don't you still care about me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, chip or not, like, I'm still me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really weird.
But then they grab these medical capsules and they're going to shoot themselves to the surface, you know, from Nala Se's room, because all the elevators are down.
Because how handy is it that she just has airtight compartments in her lab?
Yeah, I know. They didn't get damaged, but everything else is. The one thing that bothers me, okay, so they're going to use the droid to guide them from debris, which already is like, that's risky, but I guess you don't have any options. And then why does Omega be in a tube by herself? These guys suck at keeping her safe. Like,
that was
have
the thing,
her
they
double up.
At least you don't have to double up.
It's like, put Omega in a double tube. Fucking Crosshairs can be by himself. Or, like...
Wrecker and Omega, like, there's no way.
They put her by herself, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
There's no way that both fucking Echo and Tech, all the metal that they have on them at all times,
it's
weighs more than Wrecker and Omega. There's no way.
Well, it's like, put Hunter and Omega together. Like I said, Crosshairs can be by himself. He's the stubborn one, you know? Like, that'd be fine. But they don't do that, which I thought was ridiculous. And AZ is low on power, and he sacrifices himself to, you know, get Omega clear. Which I was like, oh, this is nice. You know, the droid helped out, and then once again, a part of Kamino sinks to the bottom of the ocean. But then Omega gets out of her tube like a dumbass, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're nowhere near the surface.
She quickly realizes she can't swim with a 400-pound robot.
Yeah, and it's like, what is wrong with her? And, you know, Hunter's like, obviously, like, you know, don't do it. And she goes in, and he's like, oh, I gotta save her now, dumbass. And
it's in the greatest scene in the episode.
Oh, yeah, that was great. It looks like Crosshairs is about to point
stands
blank
up with his rifle, because they're all, like, worried about her now. He has a chance to grab his rifle again. And he's just
aiming it right at Hunter's head.
And it's just like, ooh.
Yeah, I was like,
is he gonna be like, forget about the girl, join me? Like,
yeah.
But no, he does the right thing.
He saves Omega. It's a great scene because when they pull Omega out of the water, it pans over to the rest of the crew, and they're all aimed
And they
at
all
him.
guns out, aiming at Crosshairs.
And then Crosshairs, throws the rifle to Wrecker, like, hey, I'm not going to hurt you guys. I really liked that scene. It was really good. And I love the fact that it's pitch black, and he can see her somehow, just kind of emphasizing his ability.
Right.
Tech is like, better start paddling. And they paddle their way back
Yeah,
to the
he
shuttle.
has some stupid remark.
I suggest we start paddling.
He's like, okay, now that all this tension is done, let's paddle. Hopefully that turtle doesn't come and eat us.
Then they leave the facility, and we get a cutaway to wannabe Tech. I don't know how you feel about her.
Are you talking about like the end?
With
credit
Namaste?
bit? Yeah, I'm interested to see what's going on there because I've heard from my one friend Tim that place in the mountains there is from the Thrawn books, and it's like this facility that Thrawn is in charge of, I think.
Oh.
So that could be neat.
I just took it as like that's them fitting the whole like cloning thing from episode 9
Yeah.
into the story.
I hope they don't. I mean, Mandalorian kind of did that a little bit too, which I was like, I don't know.
Right, like, I feel
why
like
are we trying to
they're
explain
using-
the sequels? Let's just forget about
They're
those.
using these shows to like
Make
staple
those
in
retroactively fix the sequels, which they will never do. I'm sorry. Like those are just bad. There's no way you can fix those. Like,
But that's how I took it. Was
yeah.
all right.
But once again, like I said, this episode was mainly just conversations about ideals, and
Yeah.
the conversation at the end, Crosshairs just doesn't want to go with them, and I like that Wrecker is just like, we would have taken you back. Like he still really cares
even
about
now.
it.
Even now is like we'd still take.
Yeah, if you right now were like, hey, I want to go with you guys, they'd be like, come on. Like they care about him. I do find it funny that Hunter takes his backpack and his rifle. Like how is Crosshair supposed to leave? Like the Empire left him for dead. And like, is he having any communication devices?
Well, they do make the quote of there being Imperial scouts that are coming.
Did they? I don't remember.
Yeah, they said we got to get out of here before the scouts come. It's like, wow.
I did like the visual of Omega looking over the city burning before she gets
Yeah.
on the shuttle. And then, Crosshair's just standing there with his arms crossed. I mean, it doesn't necessarily resolve that much, but it is interesting nonetheless that Crosshairs is just loyal to the Empire. Like, he says they're not loyal to him, but he wants them to be loyal to what he believes in now. Which is very
It's
interesting.
really like I'm not convinced that he has the chip gone.
Yeah, like I said,
Like
he could
it's
just be lying.
that's the biggest thing that's been like puzzling me with this episode is like, does he still have the chip or not?
Well, it was nice because
And-
when Hunter stunned him, he even looked at the scar on his head like, is it there? I don't know. Like, he
Is it-
turns
is-
his head
is
over.
it-
Like, is he lying?
Can't tell.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, they're making a season 2, and I enjoyed the show enough. I mean, like, I'll watch a season 2.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I thought the show was quite fun.
Oh no, the show is great.
It's not as good as Clone Wars, but it was good.
Clone Wars is really good, but I also think that there's more of Clone Wars to be good.
True. But I'm just even talking about levels of storytelling. Like, I do like what they're doing with Bad Batch, but
I just wish they told the story in order.
yeah,
I was so confused.
about Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
So is Bad Batch immediately better for you because you're like, oh, it's in order?
I just because my simple brain can like.
It's like I'm not
understand
watching
the
an episode
timeline.
that takes place before the other one.
Yeah.
No.
No. I mean, Bad Batch had its filler episodes.
Yeah.
Clone Wars had its filler episodes. It's not.
I mean, I think a lot of shows have filler. Like, I don't know if you can necessarily get away from that. There are good shows that don't have that, for sure.
Hey, any writers of TV shows, nobody likes filler episodes. So...
Yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like you're trying to meet a quota of amount of episodes, but if nobody likes those episodes, why do you bother? It's such a weird thing.
I'm sure it's to give people like
Well, might even
going
just-
from Rescue to Ryloth to straight into War-Mantle might be like too.
Well, that'd be great. I don't know what
Too
you're complaining
much?
about. No.
But that's what I mean. Like how are I need to sit with Dave Filoni and ask him these questions.
Yeah. I think the show is definitely worth a watch overall.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where season 2 goes to.
I think we'd both definitively say we recommend the show. I know.
Oh yeah.
I know how we've done this. We just kind of talk about the show. We don't really recommend it beforehand. We've assumed you've watched it. We're just kind of giving our opinion on the show, which I really enjoyed doing. It's fun that we've gone through the whole show like this. I don't know if we'll do this again for a TV show. We might just wait till the whole thing comes out.
Yeah.
Because this was a little strange to do, and especially how we started it, because 2 of our parts are in bigger discussions of other things, while these last
Right.
2 have been separate, which has been kind of nice that way.
We're still trying to figure out how this works and how to fit it in with everything.
Yeah, but hopefully you guys have found some entertainment in listening to us to talk about a show made for kids.
I hope so. Well,
I've enjoyed talking about it with you. It's been fun.
I've enjoyed it. I was just debating the fact that this isn't Rebels.
It is not Star Wars Rebels. I don't know if we'll ever talk about Star Wars Rebels because I can't stand watching it. I tried. I couldn't.
I might give it a shot. I don't know. I'd have to find the time to do it.
Maybe. They keep making references to the show, and I'm like, who is this?
Why is this?
Yeah. Anything else to say about the Bad Batch, Zach?
I'm excited for the next season. Other than that,
Yeah, we're getting it next year, which was surprising. Not too
Yep,
long of
yeah.
a wait. Yeah. I still kind of wish the show was about Delta Squad, but maybe one day I'll get a sequel to that game.
yeah. Well,
That'd be nice. EA.
would you rather a sequel to the game or a sequel in a show?
Both.
There you go.
Just give me both. Just give me what I want. Make me happy.
Make me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want, but give it to me.
Just give me both of them. Why not? Fuck it.
Okay. we all know how like movie adapted games are, so
Oh, I didn't
careful,
want.
careful what you wish for.
Yeah. I know. I'll fucking go watch Sonic the Hedgehog and Warcraft and then put a bullet in my head.
Alrighty, on that note, we'll catch you all later.
Thank you so much for watching. Links to anything you want to follow of mine are down below. Zach still has nothing. You should make a letterbox, at least one of those. Kind of fits what we talk about.
you know what? Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Well, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.